Hey y'all. So, in our last video, we were left wondering how are we gonna use our left and right hands. So today we're gonna talk exactly about that, okay? And yep, let's start off talking about our right hand. For now, we're gonna focus on playing one open string at a time. And when I say open string, I mean playing these strings without using your left hand. So ignore your left hand for now. To begin with, let's play our lowest string, the E string, okay, this one. Place your thumb on one of your pickups like this. And talking about pickups, these black little things here are pickups, and they're pretty much the microphones that pick up the sound created by your strings, okay? So anyhow, put your thumb on one of these pickups and use your index finger and middle finger to stroke the E string, okay? So something like this. I want you to do this too. Alright, so there's three things I want you to keep in mind when you do this. Make sure your fingers are totally relaxed and that you are not pulling on your strings like this. As I said before, imagine stroking your strings but very lightly. If you do this with too much force, it's gonna end up hurting your hand, or it's gonna be super exhausting and you're gonna get sick of playing your bass. Okay, so the second thing, make sure that your shoulders and wrists are not tense. If your arm is first of all resting on the top contour here, that's a big no-no. Okay, that'll most likely cause your wrist to bend at a really awkward angle like this, and it'll lead to injuries. Okay, so make sure it's floating a little bit, alright? And relax your shoulders, alright? Some bassists actually prefer to play their basses like this just to get their arms relaxed and to free up a lot of motion. But for now, let's just play like this, like how most people play. Alright? And number 3, don't use your nails. Use the tip of the round part of your fingers, right around here, okay? If you use your nails, it's gonna get this weird clicky sound, and some people might prefer it, but usually not. So make sure you use the round parts of your fingers, okay? Alright, so once you've gotten used to playing your E string, move on to the next string, which is your A string, okay? This guy. Do the exact same thing, but this time, rest your thumb on the E string, like this. Not your pickup, your E string. And use that E string to also stop your index and middle finger, alright? And what I mean is just use that E string as a rest for your middle and index finger. You don't want your middle finger and index finger to keep sweeping across all the strings, okay? It might end up ringing your other strings. That's a no-no. You want to make sure you only play one string, okay? So keep doing that until you get used to it, and try to do this with each of your other strings as well. And when you do this, try to play at even volumes for both fingers. You don't want to have one finger making louder notes while another finger only plays soft notes like this. Like, for example, that's not very consistent or even, is it? So eventually you'll start learning about accents and when to use them, but for now, try to play even and consistent notes for both fingers. So, just like this. Yes! Now let's incorporate our left hand. So before we played using only open strings, but by using our left hand to hold down different notes on each string, we can play more notes besides E, A, D, G. These metal wires running across the fretboard, which is this slab of wood here, are called frets, okay? and they split up the strings into different notes. Unless you've bought yourself a microtonal bass, your bass uses a chromatic scale, which means that you go up a half step with each fret. Okay, you count the frets with numbers starting from 1. So if I say hold down the first fret of your E string, you hold down this fret over here. Okay, and if I say hold down the 3rd fret of your D string, then you hold down this fret over here. Okay. When you hold down the notes, you don't place your finger right on top of the frets, but just below it. So it's just like this. If I say, let's say we're holding down the 1st fret of the E string, you don't place your finger right on top, but just below it, okay? Otherwise, you'll end up getting really inconsistent notes, so keep that in mind. So now you're probably asking, how do you hold down these notes? Well, the great fucking question. What you want to do is rest your thumb along the back side of the neck and make sure that it's placed near the center. Center of the back of your neck, okay? And a lot of times your neck will have a line running across the back of your neck, so use that as a visual marker. My bass happens to not have one, so bad example. But anyhow, then lay the rest of your fingers perpendicular to the strings, okay? And try your best to keep your wrist from slanting or making an angle. This can limit the range of your finger movement. So they should look something like this, not this, not this. Once you got that down, let's try holding down some notes, okay? Let's go ahead and play a C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, yeah. First, put your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. So, I'm not going to point the middle finger at you. Middle finger on the 3rd fret, so this note here, okay? And then your pinky, your little pinky here, on the 5th fret of the same string. When you do this, try to keep your other fingers on the string. Don't have them float up, okay? So, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then you're going to go on to play the 2nd fret on the D string, okay? With your index finger. Right here. Alright? And then go on to play the 3rd fret. The 3rd fret of the same string with your middle finger. So here your index finger should be on the string. If your other 2 fingers are on the string, your note's not gonna make any sound, so be careful of that. Alright, so we've got down so far 3rd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, 3rd fret of the D string, and then with your pinky go on to the 5th fret of your D string. Okay? Now, you're doing a good job so far. Let's go on to the G string. Please play the 2nd fret of the G string with your index finger, and the 4th fret with your ring finger, and finally the 5th fret with your pinky. So we've got something like this. Alright. Okay, so you've successfully played the ascending C major scale. Notice how we designated one finger for one fret. The index finger only played the 2nd fret, the 3rd finger, the 3rd fret, the 4th finger, the 4th fret, and your pinky, the 5th fret. Playing like this may really hurt at first, and it's probably super uncomfortable, but this will help you make your hand a lot more flexible, and it'll help you coordinate your fingers more economically and efficiently, okay? This one fret, one finger method will become somewhat impractical or impossible along the way as you learn different bass licks, but in the beginning, try to use this method, okay? So one good exercise is to practice going up scales and going down scales using different tempos, like something like that, or playing different patterns with the same scale, like. Something like that, or you can just play different scales up the whole neck. Yeah, these are some good exercises, and you might say that these scale exercises are boring and that you don't like them, but then I'll say I don't like you. So keep practicing different scale exercises and look them up on YouTube for more. There's a ton of them, even for you intermediate players watching this, okay? If you do end up getting bored, though, try to learn some easy songs that might, help you stay motivated, and that'll be a lot of fun at first. Some that I played when I just picked up the bass were songs like Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, And another one was Feel Good Inc. by the Gorillaz. It's tuned down, the original song, but it goes something like... There's a lot more, but yeah, just try to learn some songs that you like, and that in the beginning you might find it difficult to know which songs are easy and which songs are not. So I recommend going on YouTube and just typing in easy songs to play on bass. Alright, well, that's it for this video, but these are some important things you have to keep in mind throughout your whole bass journey. So whenever you practice, always check your form, and if you can, look at a mirror when you practice, okay? You might look like a dipshit, but that'll probably mean you're doing something wrong, okay? And also, always use a metronome. There are no excuses. Don't say that you don't have one. Just go on Google, type in metronome, and then voila, you'll have a metronome ready for you, okay? So, in our next video, we're going to be talking about how to play using a pick. Alright, so stay tuned and keep practicing. Bye.